welcome to VGST BarCast. We still haven't decided what to call it, so we're going to call it that for now. I'm Hope, and I'm here with Ame, who is a PR wonder over at Double Jump. And yeah, we're going to start talking a little bit about that.
Yeah, sounds good.
How you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm here, we're alive, we're going to do a BarCast. Don't care how long it takes us to set it up, we're going to do it. Because we're dogmatic. So working in PR in the games industry, especially here in Melbourne, it's quite small.
Yes.
Compared to other places in the country. How did you get into it?
So, I originally started out...
And the tram is now gone.
Okay. I originally started doing a degree of advertising at RMIT here in Melbourne, which was all good and well. And then about halfway through my degree, I was like, oh, I don't really want to work in advertising. What am I doing?
What have I done with life? Where did it go?
But I was already 2 years into the degree, and it was my second degree that I'd started as well. I'd done a year of an arts degree at Deakin, which was fine, but I finished first year of that and was like, I can't. No offense to everybody with an arts degree, but I was doing
I'm wasting my life.
Doing like history and literature, and I'm like, I can't get a job. I'm just studying things that I enjoy.
No, I uni hopped a little bit myself, as in I went and and I studied journalism and video games design, and the journalism part was all wank. And I don't know if it was just my university, but it was like the first thing we learned about was the printing press.
Ooh.
Which, while fascinating.
What year did you go to university? Was it back in the 1900s?
Ice for the burn, please. Yeah, so it was one of those things where they were trying to impress upon us the importance of journalism. And some of it was worthwhile, like learning about the fourth estate, which is basically that journalism is to protect us from propaganda. It's so we don't have governments communicating directly with people and just telling them facts. We need something in between that.
Yeah.
And that's all well and good. But there was a lot of it that just was not relevant. And then I ended up having to decide between doing an assignment and going somewhere to be a journalist that day. And I was like...
Yeah.
And that's when I very firmly realized that university was not helping me. But it depends on the course and the career and everything. So, but I do get it. There's that moment where you're like, this is not what I need to be doing.
Yeah. So as much as I was enjoying learning things that I liked, I was like, oh, I think I'm going to change courses. So I started doing advertising, which was a lot more creative and fun, and yeah, I was really enjoying it. But then halfway through, I'm like, I don't actually want to work in this industry. But I didn't want to start a third degree.
Yeah.
And around this time,
that burn you gave me.
Oh my god. Around this time I have always really enjoyed games, and I was starting to think a little bit more like, hey, people have to work in games, like, I want to do that. But I didn't, I was toying up with the idea of starting a game design degree, then I was like, I don't want to start a third one. And then I had this revelation. I don't remember specifically what made me think about it, but I was like, oh, video games need to be advertised and marketed, and that exists. Someone has to do that. So then what I actually did was quite literally Googled video, because I'd already done one internship for a just normal agency. They were not strictly PR, it was more just like a general social media kind of agency, and it was fine, but they just had a range of all over the place clients who did every kind of lifestyle thing, and it wasn't for me. I spent a lot more time scrolling through Instagram than I cared to do. It's fine when it's my feed and my friends that I follow, but
looking at all these influencers.
I was like, oh, I don't like this. So then I googled video game agency Melbourne, and Double Jump came up.
Yeah.
So I found their email on their website, and I emailed them and said, do you guys take interns? Please let me be an intern. And then Paul, who was with us at the time, emailed me back and said, yeah, we'd love to chat to you about an internship. Come on in.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's like today's version of hitting the streets.
Yeah, legit. Just cold emailing sometimes can work.
Yeah, but you've got to be really respectful about it, right?
Of course. Yeah, so I was super surprised when I got that response back. I was like, oh my god.
Because obviously if you'd emailed and you'd been like, oi mates, give me the internship, okay, thanks, please.
Yeah.
Like, might not have worked out as well.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just the right kind of time. They were looking for a junior person and needed a bit of extra help. So I was interning with them for 3 months, and then at the end of the 3 months, because I still had like a year left of my degree at that point, they were like, oh, would you like a part-time job whilst you're still studying? And I was like, I would very much like that. So during my last year of uni, I was working like 3 days a week with Double Jump, and also at my old retail job as well, and then balancing uni as well. So it was a lot of
So
things.
you actually finished your degree?
Yes, yeah.
Fantastic.
I know.
Well done, you.
Thank you. I don't think I quite would have forgiven myself if I'd been like the last year. Don't get me wrong, that was a struggle.
There's a lot of people who do get that point, right, where they've been working so hard at it, they get to their last year and their soul's like so crushed, but they're in their last year.
Yeah.
And it's that big toss up between like, do you go do something else and like not die completely on the inside?
Yeah,
or
it
do you finish what you
definitely,
started?
it crossed my mind to be like, I could just stop this now and just work full time, but I really wanted that expensive bit of paper that I'd already spent so much money on.
Yeah.
So I finished it out, and then, started working full time at Double Jump, and have been there for 3 years now.
Do you think your uni experience helped you get the internship?
The uni experience definitely helped me get the internship. I wouldn't have, because my university required us to do internships. It was like part of the course, so I wouldn't have been frantically emailing people to be like, let me intern for you. If I didn't have to, I probably would have done it anyway, but it helped to have the university kind of force us to do it.
You're like, I have an excuse for this.
Yeah, and being a student, there's always that level of like security, I guess, for the company that is offering the internship. So
they know they're getting something out of it.
Exactly, yeah.
How long have you been with Double Jump?
So 3 years.
So 3 years. So you've seen other people come and go?
Yes, yeah. We realized recently that aside from my boss, basically, I'm one of the oldest employees at the moment, which is super weird.
Well done.
I know.
What have you noticed? What have you found that they look for when they're hiring other people?
I mean, it really depends, because in my time we've hired like juniors and seniors, and so there's been a big variety.
I guess I'm more thinking of junior people. Like my idea is maybe we could help other people who might be looking to get into a similar role. Like, what do you think would be beneficial for them that you've noticed?
I think as a junior, just a general understanding of the industry. As a like as PR people, what we do is a really big mix of things, more than I realized when I first started rather. If I'd had like, more of an understanding of like the Twitch scene in Australia, I think it would have helped me more when I first started. A lot of it's learning on the job. I knew honestly next to nothing about esports when I first started, which is surprising, as you would know, considering how much I enjoy it now.
Yeah.
But like they don't necessarily hire people who like do have degrees in the industry. Like we've recently hired Chris Holmes, who you might be familiar with. So he is a junior with us now, and he I don't think he has. He definitely doesn't have, and I mean, he's probably not watching, but, if he does, he can correct me. But I don't think he has a degree in,
and
like,
if he
comms
doesn't,
or
he
anything.
can eat shit.
Yeah, sorry, Chris. Spreading lies about you on the internet. Don't think he has a degree in comms, but, just his general knowledge of the industry and, being a Twitch streamer himself, he was just like perfect for the position because he already kind of knew what we did.
Yeah, so having those like knowledges of different fields sort of within the industry as a whole, because like gaming in itself is so difficult because it's so big and varied. Like you've got like hardware, software, and then you've got things like Twitch and esports. There's all these different sort of fields that you can dabble in and touch into. So it's also a very young job. Like PR isn't that young. We've had PR for years and years and years, but PR in the gaming scene, I mean, there's been around for a while, but it's still very like there must be things that you're learning every day.
Of course, and there's also a little bit of convincing people that they need to take PR seriously and that it's needed at all.
Because a lot of people think they can handle it themselves, and sometimes people can. But
yeah, like if the company's big enough and they have like their own internal team, it's like amazing.
Yeah.
But some of them are like, we don't need this at all, and it's like, oh, okay.
Don't come crying to me when things are not great. But the other questions I had, which if my phone would stay on for 2 seconds. Oh, that's right. I wanted to ask you about the esports scene. And because obviously, like, we're quite similar in that sense that we both didn't really have a sense of esports.
Yes.
And then I think we both got sucked in by Overwatch League.
Yes.
And then I ended up writing a bunch of esports, and you ended up doing a bunch of PR work about esports.
Yep.
So we had to learn more about the greater esports scene. But it's always shocked me just how varied it is. Because, like, different scenes with different games, but also, like, they've all got their own languages to understand.
Oh
to an
my god.
extent.
So me and some of my colleagues have this joke that if you know enough general esports terms, like my favorite is clutch play,
Yeah.
you can bullshit your way through any esport and pretend you know what you're talking about. As long as you just use the right keywords. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, this person obviously, watches a little bit of like League or Overwatch or whatever, and you don't have to. You just need to be like, clutch play.
Yeah, oh man, that was so clutch.
Yeah.
The meta.
Yeah, this meta at the moment, can't stand it. Everyone's like, oh, you're right.
Yeah, it's too stagnant, man. Need something new, shift it up. Yeah. Doesn't work when you talk about things like Rocket League so well.
You
It
might
still
want-
does a bit, yeah.
They could still have clutch plays.
Oh, absolutely they do. Rocket League was one of the, like, I don't follow it, but when you watch it, I think it's one of the most accessible games to show people.
It absolutely is. I
Because-
think, that one, more than any other esport, or video game rather, people understand cars and people understand
And
soccer.
soccer.
You put the two together and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and it so shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work? But people can get the feel for a big goal. They can get the feel for, like, the cars have got to hit the ball. But when you try to show them Overwatch, and they're like, why is there a dwarf? Like,
Yeah.
what? Get on the what? Like,
I've always struggled with MOBAs. I've never been able to play them myself. I take my hat off to people who can understand those games. So I can't watch them. I ask really dumb questions.
Yeah.
I don't retain any of the information I am told. And it just doesn't make sense to me. But because I used to play a bit more Overwatch myself, I actually understood that one. So when the league started up, I was like, oh, I get how this one works.
I think I'm the same. Like, it's obviously easier with games to understand, or games that have simple concepts.
Yeah.
I found that with MOBAs, I tried to learn to play Dota too, because I wanted to understand how the game worked, and discovered that MOBAs are not games I enjoy playing at all. I find them incredibly boring.
Yeah.
But that's fine. And that's just the way it goes sometimes. Like, and that must happen in your job as well. Like, you've got, any sport that maybe you're not that interested in, but you still have to get behind the PR side of things.
Yeah, it's happened. Maybe less so like games I'm not interested in, but just games I'm less familiar with.
Yeah.
We were doing some stuff earlier in the year with a game that I just hadn't really played much myself and definitely should have known about. And then during the event, when I was actually watching myself, I'm like, oh, this is really easy to follow. Like,
Yeah.
I picked it up and now actually kind of follow the scene. But at the time I was like, oh yeah, I don't really know anything about this one.
Yeah, time to learn.
Yeah, learning on the job. It happens a lot.
Yeah, what would you say the coolest thing that you've kind of gotten into through work is?
I mean, the biggest thing that I have gotten into through work is Overwatch.
Yeah.
Like or Overwatch League rather, and just esports in general. I flew to New York
I remember this, I was very jealous.
for the 2018 Overwatch League finals, where I actually met my now partner.
Is that where you met?
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Which is always really fun when people are like, oh, how did you guys meet? And I'm like, well, through friends is the easier answer.
Yeah,
but
I mean...
it depends who I'm talking to, because if I have to explain the entire concept of esports to you, it's kind of embarrassing for everyone.
Look, you can never be embarrassed because not current partner, but one of my previous ones, we met on Neopets.
Oh, wow.
So, like...
Nice.
Yeah. Whew, that's always a fun story to tell people. It doesn't get any better when you're like, on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's easy these days to say you met online.
Yeah.
But, yeah, at an esports tournament is
I think that's it.
it's pretty niche.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool though as
It
well.
is, yeah.
Do you support the same team?
No.
Oh my god.
Well, so she lives in New York, so she follows the New
She
York
follows
team.
New York?
Yeah.
You kind of support New York.
I like New York, and I don't not support them.
I don't
but
like New York.
That's fair.
I like SBB.
Oh, how could you not?
He's such a sweetheart.
He's my
He
boy.
catches his wife in the
Oh.
photo.
The married man matter.
I know, and when they asked him once who his favorite character in Overwatch was, and he was like,
Tracer, like, obviously. And they were like, yeah, but obviously why? And he's like, because it helps me provide for my family. And I was like,
He's such a wholesome boy. But yes, no, I'm an Outlaws fan, and she doesn't mind the Outlaws. They're like a second or third team for her. So we for the most part agree with teams, which is good.
But then when New York and Outlaws play against
Well,
each
then
other,
Outlaws lose
Yeah,
every
it's
time
so
regardless.
true.
So I just
I'm
have
a
to
big
deal
Outlaws
with
fan
that.
as well,
Yeah.
and it's just like every time you go in to watch them, you just like have fun, boys,
Because I won't be.
because I don't expect you to win.
Oh, but they've picked up so many players for the next season that I've got a good feeling.
But I'm worried that it
2020.
means that I'm not going to see my old fabies.
Yeah, you could be right, but I don't know. If we win, that's good too.
And it's also like you said they picked up Neko.
We've picked up Meko, Hydration, which I'm super excited about, from Gladiators.
Yeah.
There was Repel from Vancouver, which is insane.
Yes.
And I think Blaze, who was Boston, was the last one as well. So a range
That's
of
a
different
whole new
people.
team.
Yeah. I believe Barney was the only one who was let go and isn't playing on the Outlaws anymore either. So
I feel like Bonnie's had a real hard go of it.
yeah, he has. Oh, I lied. Ahan was also dropped, but he was kind of
He's
stuck
never
on
really
Bench
showed-
City. So
yeah.
yeah.
No, it always. I think something that I've learned that I don't love about esports is how it changes constantly.
Yeah.
Because I get behind things and people and teams as they are, and then you just have to accept that they're always in flux, right?
Yep.
Like, for example, people who supported Shanghai Dragons had to support an entirely new team this year, which, you know, they didn't lose as much.
But it was still hard when,
But
like,
it's-
you get attached to those players. Like,
Yeah.
I started following the Outlaws because of Muma, and
So cute.
if he leaves the team, I don't know what I'll do.
Like, are they
if him and
still
Jake
your
le-
team?
Yeah, him and Jake are my two favorite players.
Yeah.
If they leave, I just don't even want to think about that because I don't want to change teams. But
Because like,
it
when you
depends
think-
who they go to.
When you think Outlaws, you think Muma, Jake, Cool Matt, Raucous.
Yeah.
And like that's that team, and they all started playing together for fun, and it's this really cute story, and blah blah blah. And then if it's not them anymore, do I still love them?
Yeah.
They do have the coolest colors in the league.
Yeah, and I really like their logo.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, it's a very fair thing. Wow, Overwatch League tandem. That's
It was
fine.
bound to happen.
Yeah.
It didn't take long.
No, I was like, oh, I don't want to talk about Blizzard because I've got conflicted feelings about the stuff, and then like it's gonna happen because I have no self-control and I love Overwatch League too much, and that's fine.
But yeah, no, I'm super excited because I'm relocating pretty soon. So we've already
So
bought
you
our
can actually go and watch games.
we've already bought our season pass for the New York.
So when I went to LA,
yeah, you missed it.
yeah, I was there just after the main games had finished.
Yep.
And we flew out the night before the celebrity game, where they were having all the cool stuff, which would have been one of the more fun ones to even
yeah.
go see. Blizzard Arena was closed the entire time I was there. I couldn't even go look at it, like,
Wow.
other than from the outside.
You got so unlucky. So I was in LA in April this year, and they took a really long time to put the schedule up when I was planning my trip. So I knew I was like you gonna be in LA in these
see, I
specific
planned
dates.
my trip.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if we would have changed necessarily, but there was no option to, because by the time the schedule came out, that
Yeah.
was long sorted.
Exactly. And so I was like refreshing the pages, like, please give me the schedule, that'd be good. I was so paranoid it would be the like 2 weeks that they have off in between seasons that I would miss it, or in between stages rather. And instead, I got so lucky that all 4 of my teams were playing on the same day and none of them were
Whoa.
playing each other. So New York, Outlaws, Valiant, and Spark were all playing on the same day.
Okay,
And
so Valiant,
Yep.
because of custom?
a friend of mine was really, really into agilities, and just like,
Aaron loves agility.
like how could you not? Brady's just the sweetest
Just don't
boy.
take him to in and out.
Oh my god! Oh, no, sorry, it's so mean. But yeah, I just really loved the agilities and Kareev duo. Unfortunately, both of them have now moved to Toronto, so I feel like my allegiance to Valiant has kind of died down a little bit.
Yeah.
Which they made some changes to the team. I just
And they all have, and they all will, and you
Yeah.
can never love anything because it will change.
exactly everything will die.
Yeah. And what was the other team? you
Spark.
mentioned? Spark. Colors.
Colors, just the boys are all so wholesome.
When they announced that their main tank, Gushway,
Yes.
was on their team. Like, I just watched him, this is last year when they announced those teams, I just watched him, like, absolutely destroying during
he's
Worlds.
Such a
And
good.
so then I was like, when the pinky blue team got in,
Yeah.
I was like, yes, they're gonna kick butt.
Yeah, and when they were announcing the team, they just had this really gorgeous promotion video, like showing off that part of China, and like introducing all the players. And from as soon as that video came out, I was just sold.
It really is so much more about, like, I like some teams because I like watching those people play, but it really does become about the stories behind them.
Yeah,
And that's a
definitely.
big part of PR as well, is like selling those stories. So like it kind of all links back in. Like I could understand, like from my perspective as journalism, like I like the stories because they give me things to write about, but also from PR perspective, it probably like, I mean, unfortunately you haven't really worked with Overwatch League yet, per se, but like being able to like tell something about the team from behind the scenes gives you more to work with, gives people more to grab onto and like get behind,
Yeah.
instead of just like what happens on screen.
Yeah.
I think that's really important with esports, because you see it in traditional sports all the time. People love players, people buy that jacket, that jersey, and it's not necessarily just because they get the most goals or whatever. Like sometimes it's because, you know, you happen to go to a game and that guy shook your hand or something cool like that.
Exactly.
And it just stays with you. Yeah. I think, I got a real soft spot for Overwatch League.
Yeah. I really liked the way that they did the city-based franchise.
I think,
As disappointing as it is that there's not an Australian team, and it's pretty up in the air that there will be anytime
I
soon.
don't know if we could ever afford it.
Oh, exactly. But yeah, there was something about being able to say like, oh yeah, for whatever reason, this is the city that I'm gonna bag for, even if I don't necessarily live there.
Like, I think if I did live in America or, you know, somewhere where they did have a team that was like based on my city, I'd probably get all in on it.
Yeah.
For no good reason. Because none of the players are from your city. Like, it's got no connection to it other than like someone spent money and said it was this city.
It's the same as any sports league though.
Yeah, and it's not something I realized about, because I'm not big on traditional sports either. It's not something I actually realized that was universal until I saw it in esports. I was like, this is weird, and then I looked into it, like, it's not weird at all. This is just the way things do. Like,
Yeah, and it's just when there's less people who follow traditional sports, or flesh sports, as I like to call them, that you go, well, you know, and then you've got esports and F sports.
yep. Sports. You heard it here first, folks.
But yeah, as soon as you take a concept like that, like, oh, we've got a city, but not everyone's from that city, people are first like, that's weird, and then you realize, oh no, that's actually just
how it
normal.
works.
Yeah.
It's such an arbitrary thing to be like, we're gonna call it this place. Yeah. But it does help get people behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was really disappointed. San Francisco is one of the American cities I would be most likely to ever move to.
Yeah.
Just because that's where a lot of game journalism jobs are. And so when their team first came out, I didn't like them. I didn't like their stupid colours. I was like,
Yeah.
so ugly. And then this year when they did really well, I was like, maybe I do like San
Yep. Yeah, no, I always quite liked Dante. And then he moved to Outlaws, and I was
Yeah,
like,
like,
as
haha.
it should be.
Sinatra's been really good.
Yeah.
I saw an interview of him that I thought was really great because he basically said that he was always a pretty good player, but beforehand he was too immature, he wasn't taking feedback properly, he would, you know, get frustrated or upset, or basically just like kind of owned a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And he was like, and I'm so lucky to have coaches who worked with me, and now we all work together, and it's so much better, and I'm so much better for it. And I was like, I will stand you forever now.
I think it's really interesting taking players who are at still a pretty young age, right? Like, sure, 18 is the minimum age.
But that's babies.
That's babies.
Babies.
And you're kind of a dickhead when you're 18,
Yeah.
even if you don't think you are. So to see some of the boys, even like 1 or 2 years on from that, really starting to go like, oh, no, I need to grow up a little bit.
Yeah, like I was a bit full of myself, and like, yeah, I'm one of the best players in the world, but that doesn't mean
But there's
that
still
much.
always something to learn and something to improve on for that.
Because like
and
if you're not working with your team, it doesn't matter how well you're doing. Like it's not enough in the Overwatch League.
Definitely. I think Sinatra's a great example of that because I believe, I could be wrong, he was one of the most expensive picks going into season 1.
Wow.
And at the time he was only 17, he couldn't even play for the first like 6 or so months of the season. And then when he finally could come in, Shock didn't magically win every game. They kept doing as badly as they were doing.
They had to get that sort of training, that cohesiveness as a
Yeah.
team, and all that other stuff working.
So yeah, it was only when he and the rest of his team actually started working together a little bit better that they played as well as they did this season,
And
which
it's-
was bloody good.
Yeah, they were They were intense, man.
Yeah.
Felt so bad for Baby Pay.
Oh. Yeah. But also, Shock had like 7 different DPS players, so I don't think
It
few
felt
of
like
them.
they were just stockpiling them. They're like,
Yeah.
no one else made DPS.
We are the DPS team.
Yeah.
And then Overwatch was like, okay, but role locking.
Yeah. Oh shit. It's not like the old days of Overwatch when you used to be able to
Yeah, run 6 Mercy.
Yeah. The best. We used to run like 6 divas and just rush the point.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was impossible to defend against. Back to your job.
Oh, yes.
And the things that you do. I was wondering if you could tell me about the difference between a good day and a bad day at work.
Okay, so this can really depend quite a bit, I guess. Like a really good day is a day when I just get to boot up Fortnite at lunch and then we play for like 2 hours and it's amazing. When we get a victory royale on my lunch break, I'm like having a good time.
Wow.
But
How about a good day in the sense of No, that's still really satisfying.
it is really satisfying.
Yeah, no, you got me.
No, so a good work day is like, it really depends because in PR we do a lot of different things. There's always so much happening. We've got a pretty wide range of clients. A good day can sometimes just be you get a fantastic email from a journalist who wants to cover something, or
Soz.
someone writes back and goes, oh yes, I can actually review this piece of hardware that I've been trying to send out to somebody, or I smash out an entire...
It looks like our video feed has just gone down.
Oh, okay.
So audio's still going, but what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, get this sorted, because we kind of knew this was going to happen, and then we'll be back. And we'll keep talking about good days. And we're back. Need to get one of those like technical difficulties.
Yeah,
signs.
definitely.
But yeah, we're at BarSK and we're talking to Ame Searle, and they were telling me about their good and bad days in the PR industry.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, like I was kind of saying, good days can be anything from just like, someone emailing you back and saying like, hey, we can do this thing, let's work together and cover a story
do
or
a
a
thing.
product. Yeah, which is always really exciting. Or even me, because we manage a few social media accounts as well. A good day can be me smashing out the entire content plan for a month, because that's generally how I plan them. If I can write all that in one day, it's a pretty good feeling.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do a lot of reporting as well, because we have to show clients that we work with, like, hello, we've done the job that you asked us to do.
Yeah, here are the stats on this.
Exactly.
Here's where this person, like, that's why I always try to link you back whenever I do a review.
Appreciate that.
I don't always remember to. I'm not always the best person. Sometimes when I usually don't remember, it's because I've submitted it and like a month later it goes
Yeah.
up and I don't even know what's up. And I'm like, oh, it's there. I'm sorry. Like, but it is the one. Like, I think as press as well, we don't necessarily know what is good to do for you. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that linking back helped until someone mentioned it to me, and now I try to do it all the time.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of thing where you just don't. There's not enough. I guess open communication about what helps everyone work together.
I feel that. Like recently, we've come across not the problem, because it's sweet when people do it, but often if we send either influencers or journalists like products, they can in their social posts, instead of just tagging the company whose product it is, they'll tag us as Double Jump and say thanks so much to company and Double Jump for sending us this. And I'm like, oh, you don't need to tag us. We don't really exist in the eyes of anything. So I've recently had to start emailing more people to be like, oh, please just tag the company whose product this is. Please don't tag us.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't have known that either.
Yeah.
Because, in my head, it's just like, you're the one who knows done the work.
Yeah.
So I want to be appreciative to you.
Which makes sense, and why I'm never going to be like mad if someone's done it.
From mad that you thanked me.
How dare you? But for example, then when I'm reporting on it, if I'm sending my client like a tweet or whatever that says, oh, thanks to Double Jump for sending me this, when it should say like thanks to the company who is my client, they're always a little bit like, that's weird.
Yeah. No, that does makes sense.
Yeah.
Because obviously the client is paying you to do this work on their behalf, so it's still technically from them.
Yes. No, it's not technically, it is from them.
Yeah. Like, It's just that because, you know,
Yeah,
people
we're just the
interact with
middleman.
You, like, they think it, they're like, Ame sends me so many things.
Yeah.
Just to clarify at this point in the podcast, I do review things Ame sends me. I always say it how it is,
Yeah.
and there is never any transaction or anything that happens to ensure otherwise.
Yeah.
Not once have you been mad at me for saying anything,
Nope.
because you don't really care, as long
Well-
as I make the content.
If it's a negative review and you've said like things about the product that aren't true,
Yeah, that's
then I'll
different.
be upset.
Though. Yeah, you'll be like, what?
Yeah, the only time that, as like a PR person, that you can generally really be like, hey, I noticed you said this. Actually, that sounds like it's maybe faulty. Or
Yeah.
you shouldn't have had that experience. Let's have a chat about this and try and get that sorted.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if you just didn't like it and took a big old dump all over it, I kind of have to be like, well, that sucks, but it is what it is.
You know me, Dumpy McDumperson. And that would probably be like an example of a bad day.
Yes, that can be a bad day because we have to obviously let clients know when those things have happened.
Yeah.
So it's just like, hey, client, just to give you a heads up, like a journalist took a dump on a thing that's your product.
Maybe you shouldn't have released such a shitty product.
My
Yeah,
clients don't release shitty products.
That's very fair.
But I mean, a bad day can sometimes also just be not hearing back from people. A lot of what I do is email based,
Yep.
so I can send out a lot of emails in one day, and if I don't hear back from anybody, I'm gonna be a bit frustrated by the end of the day.
Yeah, I've got the same thing in my job. Quite
Yeah.
often I'm waiting on an email before I can do anything.
Yep.
And it's just a matter of time. And I'm like, well, I could work on this other thing if I've got another thing. Or sometimes I'm like, this is literally my day wasted until this comes back, because everything stops at this point.
Yep. No, it definitely gets tricky when that's the case. So yeah, always kind of, I mean, we always have other work that we can be doing that sometimes doesn't rely on other people getting back to me. Or sometimes then it's doing another thing up until a certain point and waiting on someone to get back to me. But yeah, that's generally what a frustrating day looks like.
It can be pretty frustrating. Do you work a lot with other countries as well?
Yes, that's another one.
Yeah.
Time zones are the worst. One of our clients over in the States, so we have a little bit of crossover. So I generally start work at 8 in the morning because we have a client that's, I wake up way too early. Because they're based in the States, we see them for maybe like an hour or two of our morning. So if I'm in that little bit earlier, it means if I have any questions, I can actually chat with them.
Yeah. No, the same thing. I work with, and I'm usually like in bed on my phone talking to
The struggle of having an office, really. And then we have a few other clients who are based in Singapore, so which are generally 3 hours behind us.
Yeah, it's not too bad in Singapore. I remember it's about the same as Perth.
That's true. But the struggle with that is if we ever need an answer from them first thing in the morning,
Yeah.
we have to wait until 12 o'clock when they get
Yeah.
into work and start their day. So it's just like, well, I hope this wasn't urgent because it's not going to get answered.
Yeah. I mean, nothing's really ever that urgent.
No, I mean, it's not often that we have like life and death scenarios,
Yeah.
but sometimes we have, sometimes with some of our overseas clients, people will be like, oh, can you get this back to me by end of day today? And they'll send it through at like 10 or 11 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, well, we need the client's approval on this. They've already left the office for the day, so no, I'm sorry, you will not have an answer on this before the Australian end of the day.
Yeah.
And, people aren't happy about it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff happens, and it's not like someone's gonna die.
Yeah.
Maybe?
No,
Maybe someone will
not
die?
usually.
I mean, yeah.
I've never...
Never killed anyone in your PR career.
Well,
what was that?
only my colleagues. It's fine.
Only colleagues. That's why you've got. That's why you're the longest one there now. Like,
Everyone else is dead.
yeah.
Dead to
Aw.
me.
When they leave, though, right? Like, they are. Get out of here.
Yeah. Don't want to look at you anymore.
No. So you're gonna be moving to America soon.
Yes. Yeah. I haven't properly announced it really everywhere on like social media and stuff yet, but I have like 3 weeks left of work, which is crazy. And then I'm flying over to New York. My partner lives over there. We've been doing long distance for about a year, so I'm...
Time to cut that shit out.
Yup. Would like to see her.
Wow, you guys have seen each other 4 times in 1 year, and that's the entire of your relationship. That's not that bad.
It's really not.
That's not that bad.
So we met at the finals, and then when we started talking, almost before we'd properly started dating, it was about this time last year, and so our office always closes over Christmas, And I was like, hey, what if I flew over for Christmas? And then,
So you did Christmas in New York?
yeah, it didn't snow.
Oh.
Yeah.
My partner has done Christmas in New York, and he did the whole Times Square thing, and he was like, it's the worst thing.
No, we went to a bar with some friends. It was a nice night.
Yeah, he's like, I'm glad I did it because it's one of those things that, you know, you do, but like literally could not move, like sardines packed into this area, and it was terrible.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
it.
But there's like a magic about Christmas in New York.
It is.
Whether it's like you get spat on by some random guy or, you know,
God.
you're walking here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool though.
I'm very excited. It's like moving overseas has been something that I've wanted to do for a really, really long time since I was like, I don't know, 16.
Have you always wanted to go to America, or you just want to live somewhere other than Australia?
It's always just been somewhere else.
Because I've always had the desire to live somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm, you know, super grateful to have been raised in Australia because it's a really good country.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah. But yeah, I've just kind of always wanted to go somewhere else.
To like experience something different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I travel a lot as it is. I've been to the States nearly every year for the past like 4 or 5 years. I've got a lot of really good friends who live over there, which has helped me not pay for accommodation, which has meant that I can
makes
keep
it a
going
lot
back.
cheaper,
Yeah. And so because of the time that I've spent just visiting those guys, and then with my now partner as well, it was just kind of inevitable that was going to be the place where I'd end up.
So I'm curious about, and this may be too much to talk about on a podcast, but you're going over there, you haven't got a job yet. So I only asked because it's something I've looked into a lot.
Yeah.
It seemed that it would be easier to get a job
Yes.
while still in Australia.
Yes.
Because what's going to probably happen is you're going to apply for jobs, and then to apply for the visa to use them, you're going to have to probably come back.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's my understanding.
Yes,
Anyway.
that is the correct understanding of how the process will go.
That is.
Look, to be honest, it's one of those things that if it means, if coming back means that I have a job, I don't mind.
Yeah.
It won't hurt to see people as well.
Yeah,
but
and like the one that I was looking into, it's probably going to be like coming back for several months while the visa sorts itself.
no, the process for the E3 one is not that long.
Okay.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah. Nice. That's
Yeah.
not too bad then. Yeah. No, because when I was looking into it, it was like, okay, so I could move there, try to get jobs, but then I'm going to have to come back anyway. And like, how am I going to have the money to come back when I haven't had a job?
Yeah, my savings is decent enough that I can afford to do it.
Nice.
If I couldn't, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
but,
no,
I mean,
absolutely fair.
I've been applying for a lot of jobs anyway, but it is hard being
Are
over
you
here.
hoping to stay in your field?
Yes. Well, I have to stay in my field to get the visa.
Yeah.
So I need to do something related
Because you need to be like an extraordinary alien of skill or something.
Pretty much, yeah. It's really weird reading visa websites when they refer to you as aliens.
Yeah,
I didn't like that.
It doesn't. I've never thought of a human being as an alien in my life, and I understand that it is technical terminology, but like it's just not what I think of. Like if you're calling me an extraordinary alien, like I'm an Asari or something. Like,
yes. Yes. Please call me like Garrus Vicarian from
like,
now on.
yeah,
He is an extraordinary alien.
And so am I.
But
Hoping to stay in PR.
yes, hoping to stay in PR or just something to do with the things that I have been doing, whether that be marketing or just like social media,
'Cause you've got
community
your degree and
management.
that will help too.
Exactly. Yeah, just something. Ideally, I want to stay in games
In
too.
games as well?
But if somewhere else offers me a job, I'm not saying no.
Yeah, absolutely fair. But ideally, go to America, be with partner,
Yeah.
work in games.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the ideal.
It sounds like the dream.
Yeah.
The only other dream that I can think of is maybe going home to play Star Wars.
Yes, I have been playing a little bit of that. I am a bit of a Star Wars fan, you
Yep.
could say. There is a potential that I have a really big Star Wars tattoo on my leg that I cannot show on stream, but I
We'll
do
look at
like
that
Star
later.
Wars. It's on my Instagram.
I thought you were gonna name the body part.
No, it's on like the top of my thigh. I like literally have to take my pants off to show it. It's
I've got
super
one like
inappropriate.
I've got not a Star Wars one. I've got a tattoo here too.
Yeah.
And it's just like every time I show something, I'm like pants off.
Yeah, that's why like I have to have photos on my phone of all my tattoos. 'Cause
Yeah,
people are like,
otherwise it's
oh,
like,
what do you have? It's like, let me just take off a clothing item. No. But yeah, I'm a bit of a Star Wars fan, so I was very excited about I believe it's the first single player like story Star Wars game in like 10 years. So
The last one would have been the sequel to Unleashed.
I don't even remember. Yeah.
Because yeah, you had the Force Unleashed and the sequel to that. I think that would have been the last single player focused one.
So it's just been a very long time, and yeah, that era as well I was super excited about. A little bit disappointed that some of my favorite characters aren't making appearances in the game. I'm holding out hope that there'll at least be some reference, they'll give me something, maybe.
I'm sure they will. Like, I mean, how obscure are your favorite characters?
Have you seen Star Wars, like the cartoons, Rebels or Clone Wars?
I've seen some of Clone Wars.
So you know Ahsoka?
Yeah.
She is my
She's
favorite.
badass, yeah.
And the timeline fits, and I'm like,
Why no?
put her in the game.
I don't understand. So my biggest qualm with this game that I have not played and thus have no right to have any qualms with is that you have such a rich lore of all these cool like alien characters and things like that, and we get a character that looks like Archie got punched in the face.
It's always a shame when characters, when they have the potential to be, you know, a literal alien and they're not.
Like, why wouldn't you always go with the cool alien?
I know. Yeah.
What do you think of the game so far?
I'm really enjoying it. It's not the kind of game that I usually play. Yeah, the combat-wise, at least, people are comparing it to like Dark Souls and God of War. I didn't play either of those games.
Yeah.
So the only reason I bought it is because it has the word Star Wars in the title.
Marketing.
Yeah. So I've been enjoying it despite that, but it's taken me a little while to get used to the combat because it's just so like different to me. And I'm also really bad at video games in general.
Yeah, and life maybe? No, that's me. Anyway.
I'm playing this one on narrative mode, so I'd like to do a big shout out to Respawn for adding a narrative mode.
Isn't it great though?
Oh my god, it makes me so happy.
Because like, I don't want to take difficulty away from anyone who wants it.
Like,
And-
sure,
and
if
there's
you
a-
want to have a shit time, like, let the option be there.
There's a lot of games that I play on my hardest difficulty.
Why?
And it's just because I enjoy the challenge.
Okay.
So that's part of what I get out of them.
Sure.
But there are some times when I play a game and I'm mostly there for the story,
Yeah.
maybe, which a lot of Star Wars fans would be. Because there's a lot of people who like Star Wars and don't necessarily play a lot of games because Star Wars is such a massive fan base.
Absolutely.
It makes so much sense to give them a mode where they can get a bit of a taste for the gameplay, but don't have to be like hardcore GG easy heroes. Like, you know?
The embarrassing part is when I'm still dying more than I should be.
You didn't
and
have to
it's
say
on-
that live on stream.
Yeah, you're right, I didn't. I really didn't.
Wouldn't have made you do that.
No.
No.
And I did it anyway. I'm just bad at video games.
Good
But
job.
it's good. I've got
You're like,
used
I get a victory royale on my lunch, and
Yeah.
the next minute you're like, yeah, I'm bad at video games.
because my colleagues carry me.
Ah, yes. Old hard carry.
And there are lots of bots in Fortnite now.
Oh.
So, yeah, they recently added bots into the game. So I'm
I might
playing with
win one.
Exactly. I can actually eliminate people in the game now and it's so much fun.
Yeah.
I highly recommend checking out But yeah, no, I've finally gotten a feel for the combat with
Because it's
Star
mostly
Wars.
lightsaber combat.
Yes, it's nearly all, there's no
'Cause,
combat
yeah,
that's not.
I had some friends who were disappointed that they, when they loaded up the game on their PC, it recommends that you play with a controller, and they're like,
Does it
mouse,
really?
yeah.
Because I was thinking, like, because I'm playing on my PlayStation, and there are definitely times where I'm like, hot diggity dog, I wish I was playing this on my PC because there are so many buttons, and I feel like this would be easier to play on a
Well,
keyboard.
I think the way they've got it, I think part of the problem is the keyboard is that there are so many buttons, the things it maps to, so it means that you've just got like your number keys,
Yeah.
and you've got to like do that and then hit the action button that sort of activates those things. So, but yeah, I was looking at it and they were like really upset, not really upset, but disappointed that it recommends you play with a controller over mouse and keyboard. But to me, that's where melee combat has always felt the best. Like I would way rather play games like God of War on a pad.
Yeah.
Because it's more comfortable. Like aiming, I don't mind a bit of the mouse and keyboard. Had to learn how to do it. But once I got used to it, I'm like, yeah, I can see how people say this is better. But for me, a gamepad is where I want my melee combat.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. But yeah, getting used to it took me personally just a little while, but now that I am, I'm like, okay, this isn't so bad anymore. I'm, as much as the protagonist character, I wasn't the most excited about when he was first announced.
You like him now?
I've kind of come around to him pretty quickly on in the game. Someone like makes a comment and they're like, oh, like you can't come through here. This is for like space trash only or whatever. And he's like, I'm like,
I'm
not
space trash.
No, his line was literally like, oh, I'm not kind of this, not this kind of trash, but I am trash. And I was just like, oh, okay, I kind of like you a little bit.
Oh, this is more relatable than I was expecting.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel seen. But my favorite character in the game, without a doubt, is the droid.
I always love the droids. The droids are always my favorite.
Like, BB-8's adorable, he's great, but I've never felt this strongly about a
Ooh.
droid in my life.
I love this droid above all
Yeah.
others. Oof.
And I haven't even had
I'm a big BB-8 fan.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah.
The line where
Yeah,
Rose
I've
is
only
like,
had him
yup.
for like a day, and I would kill all of you, and then myself. Yeah.
That happened pretty quickly. Because I know they sell the little like BB-8s that drive around. If
Yeah.
they bring one out for this droid, I will buy it within a heartbeat. Like,
Wow.
I love him.
Why do you love him?
He's just so cute. I'm a big fan of in games when you've got a like secondary character who's with you the entire game and supporting you. Like Elizabeth in BioShock Infinite, she's just always there, not in combat, but she just helps you out. Like he does that. He gives you the little like health packs when you need them.
There's always this really fine balance of just making them helpful and not useless and not in your way. And then most of the time you'll start liking them.
Yeah. There are some really cute scenes where often your character will have to like squeeze through some tight places to get to the next area, like physically, shimmy through. And for the most part in the game, the droid sits on your back. And then when you're in these really close quarters, he'll like sometimes like walk up to your head or like squeeze
Do
around.
something so we can
And
fit.
the animations are just so cute.
Aww.
Like, yeah, he's just so helpful. His animations are just gorgeous. He's just a very helpful droid, and you can customize the like colors that he wears as well, so you can find more colors for him throughout the game. And it's just, I don't know.
He's your droid.
He's my droid now.
Yeah. That happens real quick, doesn't it?
He's a little bit like a puppy, but not quite.
Yeah. But like less of a pain in the ass. I can say that because I'm allowed. But as far as the story goes, you're invested?
Yeah, the story goes has been pretty good so far. There was a really great. I'm probably delving too much into Star Wars, like
Lore.
Yeah, lore. But there was a really great theory that the antagonist for the game was going to be someone from another thing, and I don't know. Well, not to spoil it, but that might not be the
don't
case.
think that's gonna happen?
Yeah, which is a little bit disappointing. Because I consume so much extended universe.
It's really nice when things fit together.
I know, that's all I want.
You just want things to fit.
I know.
But they've got to make it so that people who don't consume that content are not super confused.
It's true, but there are still ways that they can do it
Yeah.
in accessible ways, but it doesn't often
sad.
happen.
Yeah.
And then I'm the nerd who goes, oh, but this character could have been
But you have to
referenced
create
from
a
this
new
one book.
when it could have been this old one, and then it would have this rich backstory. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. The antagonists are the like Inquisitors, and they've touched on those in some of the other extended universe stuff. So it was nice to see a bit more of them as well.
I guess the main question I want to ask you about it, because of the kind of person you are, would you be enjoying this game as much if it didn't have Star Wars in
Oh
it?
no, not at all.
No?
If this was just a random video game, I wouldn't have even bought it.
I mean, if you did play it though.
Yeah. That's like
It's
are
probably not
lightsabers
as
still in
much.
it? Like, do I still have my droid? Like, to what extent is the game different because
guess
it's
I'm
not
just
Star
like-
Wars?
So like you still need a droid, but maybe just replace some things with more generic things. So like instead of a lightsaber, it's like
Just a sword.
yeah, or a different alien sort of weapon.
I don't know. I really like the feel of the Force stuff in it.
Yeah.
Like, you can do a lot of Force pushing, which is
So
really
like
fun.
say you had telekinesis and it worked exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, actually, what was the game that came out recently? Control. I didn't play that, but I really wanted to check it out. And I know
love
they
that
had a
game.
lot of telekinesis stuff, but I also heard that there's no difficulty setting, and it gets very hard very
It's a real
quickly,
hard game.
and that's why I didn't buy it.
No, it's a beautiful game, but it is probably not great if you don't want to be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
did
don't play video games for a challenge.
I played it, I finished it, I left it for a week, and then I was going to come back and sweep up the side quest,
Yeah.
and I can't do anything because I'm shit at it now. Like, I forgot how to be good at the video
Yeah.
game.
I've done that with games so many times. I'll start playing it, I'm enjoying it, I'll put it down for whatever reason. By the time I pick it back up, I'm just like, I don't remember how to play this, or where I was at in the story, or any of those kind of things.
Yep. No, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of putting things back down, I think we're done.
Okay, cool.
Anything else you want to say?
No, thank you so much for having me. It was lovely to have a chat.
Thank you for being on. We've been talking to Aim from Double Jump. She is a PR wizard
I
from
love
the
that.
Lizard Gizzard.
Yep. Sure.
I'm hip to the jive. I'm Hope. This is Video Games Small Talk, and we'll be back next time with some more things to talk about that are small or or maybe big. Probably not, just small. Yep.
So that's the real reason you invited me, because I'm small.
The secret's out.